morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Oh, yeah. Hey, 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 get up, move your body. It's time to get up, y'all. Check one, check one, check one. What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. A little issue over here with the radio channel. I'm gonna fix real quick.
Is this thing on?
Let's try that. Check 1, 2. Can you hear us now? All right, 6:30 crew over there on the radio channel. Let us know. In the meantime, between time, we already got people chiming in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, good morning, Popsy says, well, all right, Women's Wednesday, let's go. Mark Manor gives us, huh?
Locked and loaded.
That's right. Mark Manor gives us a good morning. Wanda Lewis says good morning. Christy Norris says good morning. Amy Huffley says good morning, fam.
Hey.
That's what I'm talking about.
Just bringing them on in.
How y'all feeling this morning?
Apparently good.
Say what?
Said apparently good.
Apparently. Lots of goods this morning.
Oh,
yeah. Well, welcome to a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, all of you 6:30 crew. What's happening? Okay, let me see what's going on over there. Yes, coming in loud and clear. I like that. Thank you, Beth. Appreciate you. Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. Man, it's end of the month. You know what that means? Rent's due.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, man. Rome's reviews in the chat over there on YouTube. What's happening? It says 7 in the morning, first guy at my door, fresh Adidas squeak across the bathroom floor.
Hey.
That's what's up. Stacey Jean and says, good morning, first guy, Omaha family and friends, bringing us a little sunshine. We gonna need it because it's cold outside today, bro.
Finally got smacked with it.
Smacked with it. We got very little fluffy stuff going on yesterday. Kind of went away pretty fast, but super cold. Mark Manor says, I am sore everywhere. Went roller skating last night, found out some muscles I forgot I had. Yeah, bro.
Okay, skating.
Yeah, man. I've been wanting to go, but I'm afraid too, brother Manor.
not as young as you used to be.
You know what it is? It's the bounce back, bro. It's the bounce back. The bounce back don't come as fast as it used to.
You gotta warm up. You gotta creep into it.
Yeah, that's what you say when you're young. You can tell you spend 2 days creeping up to it and still be hurt. It's what it is. Christopher says, I'm tired. She tired, boss. She's getting ready for work. That's what's up. Well, appreciate you getting up and spending your morning with us while you get ready for work and all that good stuff. Again, it's Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. 2 in the house, man. It's getting ready to be 2023. We only got 2 more times to say 2 around here. That's crazy. It's going down.
Goes by quickly.
Yeah, man, flies by. Kimara Snipes gives us a good morning. What's happening?
Hey.
Precious McKesson hit us up this morning. Says she's under the weather, not going to make it today. Unfortunately, you know this is Women's Wednesday. We have Precious on Politicking with P, and Kimara Snipes on What's Good in the Hood. But no Precious today. So if you know her personally and hit her up on Facebook, give her a get well soon or some best wishes and the prayers, all the good stuff. and we look forward to talking to Miss Kimara Snipes here pretty soon. Put some respect on her name.
Hey.
So yeah, man, we got lots to talk about. Of course, she says she'll be chiming in from Mahoney State Park. Okay, that's
Okay.
what's up. Check.
Outside with it.
Say again.
Outside with it.
You probably in the cabin or something, right? You better. I tried broadcasting from Mahoney State cabin before, so you better check your internet.
Yeah, test that. Test that.
Didn't work out too well, so we'll see. Wanda Lewis says, "When is the last day of the year for First Sky Omaha?" That's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, December 16th, I believe.
16th, yeah, December 16th. So, lodge too. I went down to the lodge after I couldn't get the cabin. You better test your internet. I'm telling you, test your speed. Rose Review says, "Roll, bounce, skate."
Hey.
Talking that Cali language to me.
Oh, skate.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, man. That was like actually one of my first kind of gigs was at a skating rink.
One of my favorite gigs was at a skating rink too, and one of my favorite just times out was at a skating rink.
Man.
It was a it was a rink in California that had a stage that jutted out into the rink,
Hmm.
had a bar upstairs. So folks was going upstairs, drinking, rolling down a ramp to get to the floor, partying like that.
That's a slippery slope, pun intended.
Very slippery. And it was super fun though. Super. It was like one of the best kind of grown up outings ever.
Man.
But like Mark Manor, I came back the next day. I woke up like, oh man, I done twisted stuff I forgot I had for real.
Oh yeah.
Mark Manor says I was a DJ at a skating rink in the early '90s. Yeah, man.
Dope. Dope.
Yeah, those are fun times, man. Those are fun gigs. Now those are fun gigs.
Man, I mean, it's kind of coming back, especially down here in Atlanta. Actually, there's a few celebrities that's getting real heavy in the skating world. Usher, a couple,
Mm,
a couple other folks down here. Like, and I mean, you seen Atlanta with
yeah,
Ti. Like, it's part of the culture. It's part of the culture down here, still alive and well.
they got a definite skate scene down there.
Man,
Usher better slow down too. He about our age. Usher.
now that I'm thinking about it, actually, even when I was young and I would skate, all night, like not even
Yeah,
taking breaks between songs, skating all night, playing the dice games and everything, like legs burning.
yeah. I didn't experience none of that.
Mm.
I hit Stardust skating rink and I'd be on that Gallagher machine while everybody's skating, and then couple skate come around. I do that slow one with that homegirl, and then that's about it.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay. I was a speed skater, you know what I'm saying? Get out the
oh
way.
man, he said, "Move, get out the way." Kimmer Snipe says my big brother will still float on them skates, and he's in his 50s. Yeah, man,
Yeah,
I'll do a little floating. I don't get fancy, but yeah, even just regular skate, man. That's a vigorous thing. But I also grew up skateboarding in California, so I think that's even more vigorous because you hitting the ground a whole lot more with that.
yeah.
And the other day, well, not the other day, about a month ago, I tried to jump on somebody's skateboard and was like, "Whoa, none of them balance muscles are there anymore."
Gotta get your equilibrium.
Yeah, man. But at this point, it ain't worth it. You feel one tumble at this, feeling like this. I get one good tumble, I'm good. I'm out. What's gonna happen to Usher. He gonna twist it.
Ah,
He gonna be like, I gotta cancel my tour. My back.
need to back you out of me.
It is Wednesday. What do we say? It's Wednesday. Yeah, I already talked about that. The 30th of November.
Man,
Um, Giving Tuesday was yesterday. I don't know how many people did that. It went on pretty well for the Benson Theater,
okay.
and a bunch of other organizations, of course, who depend on donations, and it's kind of that day that puts it on everybody's mind. So, if you have organizations, let us know if you had a successful Giving Tuesday event, or whatever you guys are raising money for. We know we have a lot of people that are in the nonprofit realm in the chat chimers and the ghost listeners. So yeah, let us know how that went. And what else?
Yeah. Oh,
Anything
well,
else?
we do have a lot of partners that are nonprofits. So yeah, I wonder how
Yeah,
they all fared. Man, it's just kind of taking me back to the Minus Soul days where we used to have that full 24-hour Giving Tuesday bonanza.
yeah.
That was a couple times, had some food come in. Like it was a good times. Good times. Good
Hey
times.
man, we that's how we met most of our partners. It was 40 and 50 people that would come through and talk about their organization. I wish we wouldn't been able to keep that going on the radio. I think that was a very good idea that we had to cover that. We were kind of reading out what the totals were every hour. We would bring in guests from other organizations that could tell us about the organization. So just kind of kept it on people's mind all day long, and we did the whole 24-hour thing too. So we'd be up
Man,
all. Yeah, it was fun times.
yeah, kicking it all the way until midnight, man. So yeah, big shout out to everybody who gave, and big shout out to all the nonprofits that's actually out there doing the work. Like we do talk, we talk our fair mess about nonprofits and things like that. But some of them, a good portion of them, are out there doing the good work, man. So yeah, we appreciate y'all, appreciate y'all. But other than that, man, let us know how your week is going. Let us know what been getting into, paying attention to. We do have several things to talk about. Also, as Paul mentioned, Sister Kimara Snipes. Hopefully, that Mahoney internet ain't too bad on you, because we are looking forward to meeting your dynamic crew. I mean, you've been talking them up for the last couple of weeks, so definitely looking forward to that. But also do have several topics to discuss. So as always, we'd like to hear your thoughts, your feedback on this. Feel free to chime into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. Most importantly, but definitely jumping into the affordable housing situation. It seems that city council is ripe to vote on the affordable housing plan and look at some options as far as developing affordable housing. And apparently, according to this article by Omaha World Herald, it looks like the situation could be getting worse in the next several years. So again, where are we in trying to stop that? We'll talk about that and exactly what's going on. There are actually some good programs and some good things coming. So I would like to point those things out as well. But in other news, looking at OPS, apparently test scores are coming in, and they're comparing test scores to the last couple of years, looking at the test scores and the impact the pandemic had, but also looking at a few other impacts. It seems like OPS apparently is testing pretty poorly. So we'll jump into those numbers. And again, as always, we'll love to hear from those who have, school age children, have little ones out there still testing. Yeah, just love to hear your feedback on what do you think could be done, and just have our school conversation as we usually have. It is important. It is important. So definitely looking at that. And then also, speaking of schools, Creighton University, they have an apprenticeship program. We're always looking at what are the industries in the Omaha area, where are the jobs, what's going on with some of that workforce development. So we'll dive into this. Those who are interested in the health industry, there might be an opportunity for you, especially if you're a young person looking to, just kind of test the waters, if you will. This is a great opportunity. So we'll definitely jump into that. And also some national news happening. It seems like the Oath Keepers founder is now being found guilty of seditious conspiracy in connection to the January 6th insurrection. So we'll dive into that situation, and also the Grand Old Party, what's going on with some of the representatives, and also Congress making some moves with the Respect for Marriage Act. I think one of the chat chimers dropped that on us. So big shout out to all of you chat chimers and our frequenters on the Friends of First Sky Omaha. Again, check us out, Friends of First Sky Omaha on Facebook. A lot of conversation going on there, a lot of stories being posted there. So big shout out to everyone active on that group. But in the meantime, in between time, about 15 minutes into the thing, Paul B, you good? You there?
Yeah, man, I'm here today.
Yeah, let's go. Hump day. Chat chimers, ghost listeners, first and last time listeners, Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. We're all here. Let's go.
You know what day it is. What up? Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. All B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, all of you radio listeners as well. Appreciate everybody on the radio channel checking us out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're on Facebook, do us a favor and share the show. Share the show on your page so we can get as many people talking as we can. Also, a shout out to everybody on YouTube as well. Like and subscribe and share the show there if you know how to do that. Really appreciate everybody that has joined us today and gotten up early with us. We definitely see that we talk about sharing the show kind of after that 15-minute mark of the show for some reason. Like it just naturally started doing it that way as if all the early birds and the chat timers that come in, we kind of all talk amongst ourselves first and then open it up to the public at about the 15-minute mark. Kind of like that how that's swinging. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, do us a favor, share the show at this point. Now that the show's getting ready to start on up. And I'm looking in the chat, man. I'm saying Mark Manor saying, oh, first of all, Amy Huffler says Omaha Gives was so good.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm glad to hear that you it was a successful one there. Mark Manor said, I saw so many people speaking negative about Giving Tuesday and the emails and texts and such.
Hmm.
Are we at that point in the timeline? I've definitely heard people kind of tripping on that as well. And Amy Huffless is second in that too. She says, from folks in the nonprofit sector, even. So that's really interesting. Wanda Lewis says, I wish I could do better as far as giving right about now. However, with all the destination trips that my daughter is recently taking to help launch her career, I've been trying to support her. That's
Okay.
what's up. Yeah, I've been seeing her videos of her on stage around town and out of town doing things. So, yeah, shout out to her, man. That's that. I'm glad that she's stepping up with her career. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Wanda Lewis, let us know anything we can do to help her help that situation out too. We got a few connections here and there.
Hey, tell her to come down to Atlanta. I got her.
I think she might be there already. I think she might be there gigging or something.
Okay. I might have to reach out. I did follow her and then check her out on social media, so I have to reach out. And anybody who knows any local artists, artists in the Omaha area, I am trying to build. That's a part of the Omaha Atlanta connection that we're building, is trying to build a pathway and a gate. Man, a lot of these artists have to get out of Omaha. There's only so much, unfortunately, that artists can do in the Omaha area. But at a certain point, you got to expand and interact in other markets.
That's real. That's real. Just going back to the Giving Tuesday thing again too. I got on the air with a coworker over at Benson Theater last night, and we talked a little bit about what was going on with the Benson Theater, reminding people that it's a 501c3, and we have this community fund, and that community fund is strong, man. It's already pretty cheap to rent the place and do the thing you're trying to do, and you got support. But for people that can't even afford that, the theaters putting a community fund together to be able to help them be able to pay for the space, things they need to throw their show, so on and so forth. So it was a pretty good situation there. Got some good donations in, but like they were saying, I did hear people that were just like, I don't know about this Giving Tuesday thing. Like the way that we're looking at it, the way that we see it is just kind of a reminder of the power of like collective generosity in some of these things. But people have been saying, the first of all, just philanthropy in general is kind of. I've noticed. I've read a bunch of articles lately about how they're questioning the process of these things
Hmm.
and whether or not nonprofit dollars are actually going where they're supposed to go. And of course, we have been talking about following the money all year long, basically, thinking about how. It's not sustainable for there to just to be philanthropy and nonprofit dollars taking care of every situation that there needs to be taken care of. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Like there's got to be some. I mean, we've chosen to do things a certain way ourselves just because of that whole thing. So yeah, if you guys have any other insights on some of that stuff, let us know. Amy Huffley says no. Omaha gives. Oh, in May. Okay, versus Giving Tuesday. I was combining those two. Omaha gives happened in May. She said that was good. She said Giving Tuesday it lost steam, or the Omaha Community Foundation stopped putting it on. Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, as far as like it did change. There was, I think, like two or so years ago, there was a point where it changed platforms, as far as
Mm,
from the Omaha Gives, where it was that platform where they had the page with all of the organizations and what their goals were, what some of their work was. I think that changed. I did think that changed. So I am curious. I personally did not hear about any of that, but I am curious to see what people are saying about the new system. And yeah, that's always a concern. And unfortunately, although there are organizations doing the good work, there are some shell corporations out there. Let's just call it what it is. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yep. In the meantime, between time, it is 7:20 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, again, thanks for joining us. Let's jump on some of these issues that we're going to talk about today
Yeah,
because
man.
we are anticipating a special guest. Ms. Kimara Snipes, seeing what's good in the hood, is coming soon. So before that gets going, buddy, what's on the agenda?
Man, we'll kick off with a continued conversation that we have here on the show. Partially part of following the money, following the bag. Of course, looking at affordable housing, a buzzword that we've been discussing over the last several years, and now it seems like Omaha is finally getting ready to vote on a plan of exactly what that might look like for the foreseeable future. Again, the city officials did announce a 38-page plan, or at least a draft plan, in late October, and now Omaha City Council is set to vote on that plan on December 6th. As this article lays out, the lack of affordable housing to the tune of nearly 7,000 houses or apartment units that were available to families making less than $50,000 a year, of course, has disappeared, and it seems like that situation may get worse in the next several years. As drafted in the Affordable Housing Action Plan, officials consider public comments as well as analysis of demographic and market trends to identify potential solutions. And according to the plan, the need is actually going to be to the tune of 30,000 housing units will be needed in Omaha by 2030, with the bulk of that, almost 60%, set to be affordable units. Of course, we discussed all of the apartment buildings, all of the development that's going on, all of the TIF projects that's happening around the city, and where does affordable housing fall in any of that? Again, who will be able to afford those situations? That's the main question we always ask when we hear about these, and several of those options are being considered in this draft plan and will be voted on. Of course, a number of the households who are making about 75,000 a year and can afford, those are the households that can afford what's being known as market rate or new constructed buildings. The issue is there aren't enough houses for them, so a large amount of those families end up buying up a good portion of the quote unquote affordable houses for families making a smaller income around 50,000 a year or less can make. So some of the options that are being considered is actually suggesting that developers who want to use tax increment financing or TIF be required to replace subsidized or unsubsidized affordable units one for one, or required to construct a set percentage of affordable units, which is actually some of the approaches that we're hearing. I think the Spencer Projects, a portion of their new units will be affordable units. I think that was set with a predetermined percentage. Also, it has been considered making developers make a payment in lieu of building affordable units, or incentive, which could be a kind of backwards incentive, for them to build more affordable units. It also would suggest expediting projects that add variety to the market or address underserved populations. Again, referring to that missing middle that we talk about here on the show, and several organizations out there are addressing, again, the missing middle affordable housing. It's either super expensive or slums.
Okay. Just want to give a shout out to our chat chimers. They noticed that the feed went down in the first Sky Omaha page while you were going through your thing. So I'm going to ask you if you could do us a favor and kind of just recap what that article was talking about for the people that missed that. While you're putting that together, just want to thank the chat chimers for letting us know and apologize for that going down. It's something that has to do with this restream program that we're using right now.
Hmm.
I went in and looked at it and figured out that there was a way to restart that and fix that. So we're back up and running now, and you guys have, yeah. I appreciate you, Pop. Says I thought it was just me. Glad you're back. Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think that happened while Buddy was kind of reading through the article. So,
Okay.
Buddy, if you could just recap a little bit about this new affordable housing issue.
Yeah. And again, apologize for the tech difficulties. But yes, again, we've been looking at this situation, been wondering what is Omaha going to do to address it, and apparently they are set to vote for that actual plan on December 6th. We actually discussed the plan in late October when it was revealed. Again, a 38 plan draft, or 38 page draft, was issued. But again, there are some things that need to be voted on and discussed. A few options in regards to how to address or incentivize more affordable housing, of course, is being discussed. And one of those, or a few of those things, as I mentioned, is for developers to incentivize them, especially developers who want to use TIF, for them to be required to replace subsidized or unsubsidized affordable units one for one. So of course those are Section 8 or just other subsidies for people to get into housing. Also, some developers may be required to construct a set percentage of affordable units, which I mentioned might be what we see at the Spencer Projects location. Again, those units that are being built there, I do believe a certain percentage of those are earmarked for affordable units. And then also, it is being considered whether or not developers will be forced to make a payment in lieu of building an affordable unit, which is kind of a backwards incentive, if you will.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm still not seeing. There's a couple things about this that I'm not seeing. Also, I'll put it out there to the chat too. What do you think about this idea? Is anybody in the chat or any of the ghost listeners know about what this exactly what the plan is supposed to entail in each area? I'm also not still not clear on what exactly is affordable housing. I don't know if I'm missing that in this article or what, but it doesn't. It is to me.
I
I'm not.
mean, they're sticking to the same definition that we've been discussing over the entirety of our affordable housing discussion. Again, that means families who can afford 3 times the rent, or affordable housing is again around that 3 times mark. But of course, as stated in this article, um, it
Yeah,
says
I mean,
more than 55,000 Omaha households spend more than 30% of their income on housing. So again, vast majority aren't. It's not affordable.
it's not telling me nothing because if you're telling me that it's 3 times, you're supposed to be making 3 times the rent, then what's the criteria for how much you're supposed to make? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I'm not quite sure, so if are they talking about people getting in on that kinda scale? Like, if you only make $2,000 a month or something like that,
Well,
then
the mark used in this article is 50,000.
okay, so $50,000 a year, um, which is not I don't think the that's not how most people aren't making $50,000 a year.
Hmm.
That especially especially if we're talking about our neighborhoods. I don't think that that's a median income maybe a household. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think Omaha median outcome or income is closer to like 36, 35,000.
and we kind of guessing because really like the census gathers this kind of information, but we all know that everybody doesn't put their information down on the census, so they're taking data from wherever they're taking it, and they're saying the average here is 50,000 a year, and so we're going to base everything off this 50,000 a year. Linda in Chicago said that's right. Everyone's definition of affordable is different based on income,
Yeah.
right? So let's that we can start there. Is $50,000 a year sound reasonable for most households,
Yeah.
for most
And
most individuals?
and that's really why I didn't dive into the numbers in this article, because just reading through it, it can get convoluted, and I'm looking at it, so I can just imagine what it would be like for those who are just listening. Um, but yeah, I mean, those are the two marks that they're using, is 50,000 and 75,000. Saying that those who make about 75,000 are the ones considered to be able to actually afford what's market rate. So anything less than that, you fall within that affordable housing range, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
And they're
does. But
saying in this article that the problem is the number of people making $75,000 a year is more than the actual market rate housing. So the people making $75,000 a year are the ones who are buying up majority of the quote unquote affordable housing units. So the people who are making less than that, their options are less. They can't, what they can afford is not available,
right.
because people making more money are buying it up
Well,
at sometimes a higher rate.
that's and okay, yeah, okay, I got you. It's hard to have this conversation about a plan. It's hard to have this conversation about affordable housing without looking at the money part of it, without looking at what affordable means, without looking at
Mhm.
income, without looking at rents. Like, I don't understand how they can even have that uh, happen there. Ghost Listener 402 says, only affordable for those Omaha is attracting to move to Omaha, not current residents. Read recent article in Omaha Magazine. We'll have to check that out. I want to read that, see what Omaha Magazine has to say
Yeah,
about
yeah.
affordable housing. That's interesting in itself. Wanda Lewis says majority of the new housing development is allocating at least 10% of housing development for low income. Don't know the plan. Don't know the plan is for the remainder of low income tenants. Yeah, just yeah. Um,
Well, I do want to jump into some of the solutions, I guess you could say, or some of the developments that are happening around the city. Of course, we talked about Front Porch, who is recognized and discussed in this article. Again, they received a grant from the city of Omaha of about 20 million, and as a part of that grant and agreement, Front Porch matched that $20 million investment from philanthropic donations. So it's about a $40 million pool. And the first round of that was announced, and I think they're spending about 11 million of that in the first round, which Front Porch investments themselves then spread out amongst 14 different nonprofit organizations and developers in the East Omaha area. So that is one approach. Again, that still doesn't answer how much will some of these units cost. Actually, I think we talked about it. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily say how much some of these units will cost, or what are the income requirements or things like that. So those questions are still up in the air. um yeah, that's a great question. But in regards to the people who are already living in affordable units, if you will, we've been looking at it, and I would love to hear, Kimra, if you have any information on the Southside Terrace and what's going on with that. Again, that is also expected to be developed within the near future. And apparently, OHA does have a promise, and will be working closely, according to this article, with each individual who lives there currently to accommodate their next living space. Director of OHA, I believe Amy Poor, yeah, Joni Poor, excuse me, Joni Poor, who is the CEO of OHA, says that understandably our residents are concerned about what do I need to, or excuse me, about when do I need to move, and where I will move, and how that will happen. This could mean moving to a new location permanently, or finding something temporary until the development is complete. What's going to work for one family and one household maybe isn't going to work for another. The project will be underway soon, meaning the organization will be working hard to quickly get all residents into a new home. So, that kind of answers one of the questions that we had, especially with the Spencer project situation. Like, where are those people going? How are they being treated? It seems like it's being handled on a case by case basis, so it kind of makes it harder to get a full picture of how that's being handled. But there are those options, and still more questions, with this conversation, like the houses that people are being moved into, how much are those, where
right.
are those? But again, it's a case by case basis, so it's kind of dispersed.
Black Dynamite in the chat. He says, "Morning, fellas. Good morning to you, man.
Peace, peace.
Did you tell me? Did you at one point you were looking for a place that you were moving, trying to move somewhere, or did you recently move? Some reason I'm thinking about you saying something about that. I'm just trying to find out if there's any more chat chimers out there that's like looking for housing, that just got into some housing, that are that has some trouble finding housing, that are trying to move now. Let us know about your personal experience for sure. Definitely want to know about whether or not how it is, since it's a case by case basis. Let's look at some cases if
Yeah,
we can.
do a case study.
Yeah, and again, if anybody has any inside information or anything about these plans and these things that are supposed to be, um, you know, that are supposed to be happening here, let us know about that. Like Dynamite says, knocking down the projects is to build more apartments. Shake my head. Right.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. Uh, this this is and then what happens to the displaced people, and what happens to and who are the ones that are going to come in and move into these affordable. There's just so many questions, and like I said, I understand that it's a complicated situation, of course, But um, I keep on. It's hard for me to even think in terms of this because I keep on going back to this question: like, what is affordable housing?
Mhm.
What does it mean for how can you have a how can you if everybody's situation is different? How do you allot for making to figure something out so that everybody can be can find homes? What as a real estate developer, how do you not come in at market price? Um,
Yeah.
there's just it's a very complicated thing. So many questions. Black Dynamite says, "Yeah, I just moved at the beginning of October. How hard was it for you to find a new spot?" He said, "Paying more than what I really want to pay for something that's not really worth it. What I'm paying for."
There you
My
go.
my experience.
That's kind of par for the course. A lot of situations, and that's renting. And this is interesting. Kind of the last paragraph of this article says Nebraska Taxpayers for Freedom, which is a group that apparently opposes this whole plan that Omaha City Council will be voting on. Is saying that putting dense, low-cost housing in established neighborhoods would decimate property values. So you have homeowners who's kind of pushing against this. They actually suggest offering tax incentives for private developers who build housing on abandoned land parcels, which just from looking at the Omaha Land Bank, which is another part of this conversation. There's a lot of those abandoned and empty land lots, especially in North and South Omaha, or as we like to call it, East Omaha. But on this case by case basis, I will kind of like to put in this final thing as far as there are. It seems like there's going to be more options for special cases, if you will, like as far as the average everyday person trying to find housing, just going to work, have a family. It's going to be increasingly difficult. But I'm seeing more options for seniors, so those who are retiring, and there's actually a situation for youth who are formerly experiencing homelessness. And actually, I saw an article from Dana College. Apparently, the campus at the old Dana College, there will be a this is in Blair, Nebraska, which is quite a ways. But I think this is a good point. This is for students or young people who are aging out of the foster care system.
Mhm.
This will be housing for them to kind of transition between the foster care system and adulthood. You know what I mean? There's about a 150-acre campus that will be given a second chance. Again, this is Dana College out in Blair, Nebraska. But there will be about, I want to say, 150 units. I missed the number, but there'll be a number of units available again for those who are aging out of the foster care system, which
And
is
that's
huge.
in Blair. You talking about?
Yeah, at Dana College,
Yeah.
the campus of Dana College, and it will be like not permanent housing. Again, it's a transitional situation. But again, that's just my point as far as people in special cases, formerly homeless, formerly in foster care, retired. There are more options for those cases than the average person just trying to find housing.
I will say, this is about the 3rd or 4th time this week I've heard, Blair's come up for,
Mm.
for things, housing related. I've heard about new buildings going up out there. I've seen several, postings about housing. There's even one that caught my eye was, I'm constantly looking for a mixed use space where there can be a place to live upstairs, an office downstairs type of deal, doing business in the same building. There was a couple of those out in Blair that that was like, this is perfect. I didn't know, I didn't see Omaha. I don't even know if Omaha has anything zoned for that type of situation, but they did in Blair.
Mm.
So yeah, it's really interesting that there's more kinds of options away from the places that you're trying to be. Um, and that's kind of what the problem is. Now we
Yep.
we do, and like you were saying before, there's a lot of empty lots that things can be built on. Apparently, there's a lot of acres still available. I mean, BAA just bought up 8 in
Mm-hmm.
Omaha. They're looking at a double digit acreage for the over by the airport for some of the infrastructure they're trying to get going over there. So I mean, there's a lot. American Phelps says missing middle housing in Omaha. Yeah, that's we're missing middle everything.
Yeah.
The middle
Child.
class is missing.
Yeah. Yeah, all together, and it's funny. I'm glad you mentioned zoning because that's another portion of the plan that's being proposed, and are going to be voted on as well, as far as changing some of the zoning laws and ordinances in the city to maybe help with some of those work live spaces and carve out space for some of those buildings.
Yeah. Mr. Eric Fell gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. Hope you're feeling good today.
Yes, yes.
Rose Review says some property owners are hypocrites. They hate paying more taxes when the city assesses their property at the higher value until it's time to sell. Now it's invaluable. Man, I don't even really blame them though. The way the system is set up. How you know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like you don't want to pay a whole bunch of higher taxes on your home. Paying more money than you feel like you ought to be paying. But then at the same time, because the system is set up like it is, when it's time to sell, you want the highest dollar value you can get. I mean, that's just seems
Hmm.
like a natural thing. I don't know if I call them hypocrites, but I guess the system kind of makes you a hypocrite in that in that sense. And I like to do more of that. I like to bring on even a developer or somebody, homeowners, developers, people that are on that side of the fence too. When you talk about affordable housing, the people who are actually putting their hundreds of thousands of dollars into building housing, into developing housing and stuff like that. Then what does it look like to them? It's not, I can't just be cut and dry. You know, I'm sure that they wish that they can do it, but how do you come in below market value if you own a property? You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like it's a real question.
and they still have to pay that mortgage. They still have to pay that mortgage.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, very, very interesting situation. Of course, we'll continue to look at it. December 6th is the day when City Council will be voting on that plan. So yeah, let's try to maybe spend one more day looking through the plan and actually get eyes on what the plan entails.
Good idea. It is 7:42 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, let's take a quick break and come back and jump into a couple other things, and then we'll have a special guest coming in shortly as well. So definitely stay tuned. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All B, Buddy to God, all of you, the chat chimers that are also my backup tech,
Man,
my
they,
backup
they
tech
own it.
assistants. They
They
own
own
it.
it.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned, y'all. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All B, Buddy to God, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners.
Hey.
Erica Fell says some reason that reminds me of the deal.
Okay.
That's because I'm an old head. So I'm sure the Babyface has snuck into my musical repertoire at some point for
Mm.
sure. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that's joining us. We do have a special guest coming in just a few minutes. In the meantime, though, but before we get to that, a couple other things that we wanted to definitely talk about today. If you miss any parts of the show, you can always go back and check us out on Facebook. You can also check us out on YouTube. Shout out to everybody who is joining and subscribing over on YouTube. Appreciate that. And you can also check out the shows on Twitter for the moment. And the reason why I say for the moment is because I don't know how much I don't
Yeah.
know. Twitter, every day there's news about something else crazy happening over there. Now all of a sudden they're not going to filter out misinformation when it comes to COVID. That's causing Apple to say, we're gonna drop the app.
Man.
Um, this if it's gonna be a free for all ridiculous situation over there, I don't know if we want to be associated with it. Some of the chat chimers encourage us to stay on and try to be.
I don't know. Like I said, it's only a matter of time before we get like Jesus and Smaug the Dragon in the chat. Like it's
And that's not the only thing, man. But if you're on a platform where there's like there's it's just known for just clown. I don't know if do you want to associate yourself with a platform that is got a bunch of fake news on it, Trump's on there, you know what I'm saying? Just free for all. I don't know. I really don't know about this. I know that we have a very specific group of people. We're always trying to refine the situation, and we leaning towards being able to have our own platform or getting down to one platform, which I'm seeing more and more every day. I'm seeing is
the move.
more is probably the move. Yeah. So I don't know. So when we ask this, when we start coming into the end of the season, we start asking this, we start thinking about how we want to refine things for the next season. Next season we come back, we might not be on Twitter. Next season we come back, it might just be Facebook. It might just, according to the chat chimers, according to the people that we call friends of First Sky Omaha that listen to us, if we decide, hey, let's just move everything to YouTube and be on YouTube only, will that be an issue? Or does it need to be Facebook only? Do you guys enjoy having the couple different platforms to check out? Today, one of the chat chimers, when we lost touch with the chat chimers on Facebook, somebody got on the YouTube and said, "Hey, Facebook's down." So I was happy that we were on both channels today.
Hmm.
Um, but we have to think about these things. We kind of refine these things. But the one thing I do know is that Twitter got so much mess going on. I don't even know. Oh, Pop says, "I think you're out again." Let's see.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with
Yeah,
restream
yeah. Ms. Wanda Lewis says the live was shut down again. I don't know what's going on with that. So yeah, there's your prime example right there in real time, in real time. So does that mean it's not going out on YouTube? Like those are on YouTube. We're still good?
It's going on YouTube. So I'm seeing it right here on restream. It disconnected. I have to hit the edit button again, and then it says sending data. Now it says it's streaming.
Oh,
So
free stream.
right. And that's some of that part. So I appreciate you, Wanda Lewis. Live shut down again. Pop says, I think you're out again. And I just said Ghost Listener said good on YouTube. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like just issues with social media in general. Um,
What up?
hey,
What
what's
up?
up? This is Black Dynamite. Yeah, okay, that's what's up. Yeah, we were just talking about it. There's something going on with the Restream program that keeps on jumping us off of Facebook, the main page where most of the chat chambers are. Linda in Chicago says, I stopped using Facebook because of all the crazy. I'm holding out on Twitter in hope someone gives Elon the boot or there is a replacement. Nobody's gonna give Elon the boot. He owns it. He's
Let me
not
let
getting.
me ask this, man. It seems like all the major like is this the beginning of the end? Like it seems like all the major players are in shambles, man. Like this whole meta move from Facebook isn't really working that well. And of course, they've been on the hot seat for some of the misinformation and disinformation that they've been sending on, and allowing on their platforms. Um, of course, Twitter,
Twitter's tripping.
man.
We talked about following the money on this a while back. We were saying that they were laying off tens of thousands of people. All the majors were laying off tens of thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
And
Snapchat,
say again.
Snapchat.
Right. And so yeah, there's a big shift. As a matter of fact, I've already jumped on another social platform. Let me grab the name of it real quick. There's a new one out called Hive that a
Hmm.
bunch of people are jumping on. And it's as a matter of fact, the day I jumped on it, they reported 1 million people transferred from Twitter to Hive.
Hmm.
And then I looked up some stuff on YouTube about it, and some of the younger folks that are really pushing on Hive right now are saying that they're saying this is one of them exciting times when the big majors are in trouble, and the new stuff is coming up. Hive is kind of like old school MySpace.
Hmm.
and everybody's wishing that MySpace was back right about now. So yeah, it's really interesting how we should have known that there was going to be a big shift coming. There is a big shift coming. That's why we've been looking into our own platform on our
Page.
own website, right? So that we can kind of disregard all that stuff. So there's always going to be a place for all the social medias. Should it be your main hub? The main conversations happen here? I don't know. I never really believed that should be the case. Even like Facebook, for instance, they own a lot of your stuff if you run it through Facebook. So technically, every time we broadcast, Facebook owns that. Um, Here's Mark Manner saying, "I deactivated Twitter the day Elon took over, and honestly haven't felt so out of touch since. But I can't be on a place where those people have free reign to spread their trash." And
Yeah.
Mark, you were the one. You were like really heavy on Twitter on several times on a daily basis. So interesting. Rome's review says, "Is Hive a foreign company?" I don't think it is, but that's what I'm getting from the very small amount of research I did on it, so we can see. And that was the problem with TikTok. TikTok is a Chinese-owned company that they feel like TikTok is gathering a bunch of information on us, or China is gathering a bunch of information on us. So there's a lot. Black Dynamite says, "Have you looked into Blam Fam yet?" I don't know what that is. I have not seen
Mm.
that. I do remember us talking about a black owned social media company that had popped up. Kind of lost track of the information on that. Got to see what that's about again. Linda Chicago says there are a lot of different places trying to be the new Twitter, Hive, Mastodon, Post. Mastodon is an old one too, isn't it? Kind of older. Um, so yeah, a lot of them trying to replace Twitter. There's also, we haven't talked about Twitch. There's you can start your own platform on a couple of other ones like Discord. You can do your own server on Discord.
Mhm.
But again, these are all companies owned by, these are all companies that are owning these platforms, and that's what's going on with it. He said that's the black owned platform. It's called Blam
Blam.
Blam Fam. Okay, check it out.
And apparently they have like some retail portion to it called Blamazon.
Okay, that's what's up. All right then, Bland fam. We'll see what's happening. But again, ultimately, we're looking at having the conversations on our page, so that we don't really got to deal with all that kind of thing. Now, how you get new listeners and stuff like that, you really got to be in a different state of business to be able to bring people over to your own platform.
Mhm.
But like I said, that's why there will always be a place for social media as far as I'm concerned, because you would advertise on there. We put shorter clips about stuff on there. That's kind of what we're looking at doing is saying, here's a little short clip of an interview. If you want to see the rest of it, come over to firstsky.omaha.com and check out the stuff there. So we're constantly working on that type of thing for more reasons than just we're having trouble with the tech. Also because who owns these tech companies?
Man.
Who's getting paid? You know what I'm saying? Like we're not monetizing YouTube like a lot of people are doing. We would like to get to that point to be able to monetize YouTube, because right now YouTube is just benefiting from the fact that we have hours long content on their page. If you're on YouTube watching it, then YouTube's happy about that.
Mhm.
Linda Chicago says Facebook has been allowing foreigners to collect info for a long time. Look at all these fake election drama that was started a few years ago that has not stopped. COVID misinformation too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, Mark Zuckerberg, I think his father was a part of the CIA or FBI. Like, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know that.
yeah.
I do remember there were Russian bots and all kinds of stuff that was happening that was kind of disrupting elections back in the Hillary Clinton election days. That stuff was all on Facebook. So even with Apple, I remember Apple being a situation where they leaked a whole bunch of people's accounts. So I mean, there's always going to be something. There's always going to be some things there that 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 you gotta deal with and suffer through. So we just want to keep on trying to keep an eye on things, YouTube still is king
Mhm.
when it comes to doing what we do.
Because the thing is, YouTube isn't necessarily a social media platform. Like YouTube is a video search engine. That's really
Right.
all it is. It's a video search engine that allows people to create their own channels.
Right.
Um, that's it. As far as like Facebook, this is a different monster. It's a different beast. It's a different beast. So,
Real.
I kind of appreciate what Linda in Chicago is saying. She's like, I will follow you wherever you go. But I like YouTube. I like to go back to watch episodes I miss, and it's easily shareable. And of course, YouTube is integrated in a lot of things. And as far as Google, I think their data handling is a little different than Facebook. I think Facebook is surely on like collecting this. I think it's just a different monster, just a completely different monster.
Yeah, it is. I'm definitely leaning towards YouTube myself. Just as far as chat and just as far as participation and stuff is concerned, it seems to be set up for that. They have a lot of tools and stuff in place for that. I'm leaning towards us just going and hitting YouTube and sticking there. Um, lots of different reasons, even tech reasons, even like there's a higher refresh rate. There's higher uh clear pictures. There's a lot you can do over in YouTube. It's kind of built for what this is. I think Facebook was just trying to jump on the bandwagon with a lot of stuff that they're doing, but Pop
Mm.
says I think it's time to roll your own. I think so too.
Yeah, the same thing Ghost Listener said. Ghost Listener 402 says it might be time to create your own platform.
Right.
So yeah, I mean we are working on those things in the background. It just we really care and appreciate and value y'all, our audience.
Yeah.
So we consider that before we make any of those moves. So yeah, we appreciate y'all. And these conversations are necessary. But
And you give us the strength to be able to make those kinds of decisions too when you say, you'll follow us anywhere and all that type of stuff. So and this show doesn't happen if it's not for talking with you guys. So if you guys ain't coming on through, then we don't have a show anyway. So that's what's up. Linda Chicago says users can listen and watch YouTube on your phone while using other apps to get work done. Very true, very true. So yeah, like I said, I'm definitely leaning towards that right now. I can tell you that we most likely are not going to be on Twitter, especially on the next season 5. We'll probably be dumping off of Twitter, and
yeah,
then
man.
I really got to kind of figure out about Facebook. We got everybody pretty much not going to Friends of First Sky Omaha anymore to jump on. They know now go to the main Facebook page to chat. But I'm seeing more and more red arrows here on the chat over here because a lot of people are going to YouTube, and I think that might be what we end up doing. Doesn't sound like you guys care too much about Facebook in the first place. So like that's also a thing too. Like if the transition over to YouTube seems like it'll be something that it's not gonna be that big of a deal. We'll just go over to YouTube and watch us. So
Man, but what I will say in light of this whole Twitter conversation, and this is kind of different angle that I'm thinking about with this, and it starts from like it's just so surprising to see how Twitter went from like being the information source. Like if an elected official or somebody said something on Twitter that was reputable, like that was credible. You can use that in an article. You can take that, you know what I'm saying, for what it's worth. But that's not the case anymore. So it just kind of makes you think of a platform like this and how maybe more important we can become in this landscape. But like, we gotta start disseminating through all this misinformation that's undoubtedly gonna come, man. So
yep,
um
yep.
yeah. Just a quick thought, and we appreciate y'all.
That's right, we really do. We're gonna take a break in a minute and come back with Kimara Snipes seeing what's good in the hood. We can't wait to talk to her and her new team. Before we get to that break, Rome's Reviews a little earlier said a financial tip I follow for myself to be able to afford my home is to don't wash my truck. Whatever you spent last year on keeping your vehicle clean, I saved that money.
Okay.
You save that money. Hey, I love it. I love it.
Hey, riding dirty.
Hey, stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All
Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, chat chimers, ghost listeners, it's going down. It's cold outside, so I'm going to imagine myself right near the beach.
Hey.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. My goodness. All kinds of tech problems today. My goodness.
Jeez.
Wow. All right. Here, let's put this back up. Y'all subscribe to YouTube because
Come to death row.
just come on over to YouTube. Yeah, thank you very much for letting us know. It looks like you guys got oh, damn. Uh, I'm loving that Wanda Lewis and everybody's on YouTube and Facebook, so they can tell us when that's going down. Yeah, keep on letting us know because we can't see from our end when it goes down, which is ridiculous too. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us.
Man, again.
Thanks, thanks for being our tech assistants. We really appreciate that. In between time, the meantime, let's go ahead and get this party started. 8:02 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, it is time to see what's good in the hood with Kimara Snipes and fam.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you? You know, I'm all smiles over here.
I see. I see. You got the squad in the house now. That's what's up.
The squad.
Hey.
Introduce your squad to us.
Yep,
I'll let them
let
introduce
us know.
themselves. Again, my name is Kimara Snipes. I'm the director of Equity and Community Partnerships for Nebraska Civic Engagement Table, and I was blessed with the opportunity to build an organizing team, and that is what I have done. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you. I'll start to my left and probably your right.
Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Riley Wilson. I am the Organizing Coalition Coordinator with the Nebraska Table moving forward. And just really excited to join Kimara's team, be a part of organizing, not just in Omaha, but within the entire state, working with member organizations to ensure that we're doing the most with the resources that everyone has. So looking forward to get to work.
Right on. Nice to meet you, bro. Right on.
Thank you.
And hello, guys. On my show, just got blessed to become the Nebraska Table Civic Engagement Strategist. Anyone knows me, I love civic engagement, so this is a great opportunity. This is a great team. Looking forward to doing the work.
All right, Shai, what's happening? Good to see you.
How's it going?
I'm glad to see you on the team. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Kimara, you've been talking up the team for quite some weeks, so it's nice to finally meet everyone and definitely welcome. Of course, Warshell, we've had you on the show before, so I want to direct it to Brother Riley and get to know you a little more. The audience, may be unfamiliar, some may know you, so just kind of give a little rundown about your background, maybe before coming to Nebraska Civic Engagement.
Sure. So I'm originally from Lincoln, Nebraska. I won't go too far back, but I spent some time in the military as an intelligence analyst. When I got out of the military, I worked for the Department of Labor, working with veterans who have significant barriers to employment. So whether they be homeless or had a disability or whatever the case may be, try to help them find work. And as I was working with individuals, it became apparent to me that when you can work on a larger level, you can just impact so many more lives, right? So that's when I decided to go to law school. So earlier this year, I graduated from law school at Creighton.
Hey, congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate that. However, the bar did not go the way I had hoped. But at the same time, we're always pushing forward. We're always trying to figure out how we can help impact our communities. So when I had the opportunity to join Kimara's team with the Nebraska Table, it was something I was very excited about. I want to be able to wake up every day and just know that I'm impacting people. And I believe this is a good vehicle to do that.
Nice. Okay, excited. Thanks for that rundown. Some military experience, so thanks for the service as well.
I'm going to add to that. Y'all might also remember Riley from the year of the social justice protesting. We heard about that legal observer who was arrested during the protest. That was actually Riley. And I actually met him when he was working for the Department of Labor. I used to work out of that building as well at Heartland Workforce Solutions. And he used to come into my office talking to other people there, and just his level of knowledge and just care for just civic engagement, politics, and things like that really, really spoke to me. And so I also had the pleasure of him serving as my labor chair when I was chair of the state Democratic Party Black Caucus. And so there was thought and intent put into the hiring for these positions, because I know that both of them have institutional knowledge, have care, and are going to not just come and keep a seat warm, if that makes sense.
Okay. That's what's up. I
Okay.
love it. I love it. There's so much intention in all that. I really appreciate that. That's great. Sound like you got a really great team. I was when I kept looking at Riley, like I know I don't know if we met or just I just saw you in the midst of the Freedom Summer or what the deal was, but yeah, okay, yeah, just putting two and two together now. Appreciate
I do have a generic face, so you may just think I'm something else. That's a very, very distinct possibility. But
Oh man, I don't know. But yeah, it's I appreciate you hearing about your background too, definitely, in adding to that. I know about Kimmer's, I know about White Shiles. So you guys got that team and that squad. Whitney Richardson in the chat says squad so excited for the team, Kimmer.
Nice.
So, yeah,
So I'm curious. So now that the team is assembled, I already know you have some work cut out. What is kind of the first steps, or what are you most excited about with this team, Kimmer?
Well, civic engagement. Y'all know how serious it is to me, and having the opportunity to work with the table, that on top of what I've already witnessed in the community over time, you start to understand what the community needs. And you also start seeing where, people have meant well, but it just hasn't necessarily always been done the right way, strategically. And so like just this week, we've been here now, this is our third day. Down here at Mahoney State Park. We came down here, the entire table team, to do some goal setting and planning and working on our budgets and different things like that. I'm excited just to see what comes out when the three of us get together and sit down and really strategize. Part of our main focus with the table is to create a statewide organizing plan. The Nebraska table works with nonprofits across this entire state. And I know that people have their feelings about nonprofits, and that's warranted, you know what I'm saying? Because I've seen where people have mishandled. And I also understand that, they can't be the end all be all. But, while we're in the position and have these resources, we are going to utilize them in an intentional way. I'm excited to create the statewide organizing plan. I'm excited to create or finish other programs that I've been working on over the past few months. The past few months within our organizing team at the table, it's kind of just been me because we've had some transition. And now I have two people who have so much knowledge and so much energy to do this with me. That alone is just exciting. And I know that understanding that this is a marathon and not just a race. Washel and I just had a conversation yesterday. This is a fight that has been fought for a very long time. There are those who came before us and we're carrying on what they did. And there will be those that come after us and continue carrying on what we are doing right now. But I don't know the future, but I'm willing to say that I guarantee that with this team, combined with the entire table team and combined with our member nonprofits across the state, we're going to make change in Nebraska. And that's what really excites me.
Yeah, I want to speak to the fact when you put a squad together, when you put a that's kind of one of my things that I do too. I'm always putting small families together, small teams together, squads together. That's when the movement really starts. Like, as a matter of fact, I have a whole theory about Nipsey Hussle's whole marathon. This is a marathon statement as well. It's a marathon in general, but it's also feels like a marathon when you're doing it by yourself. But it feels like a sprint when you got a team. It's getting ready. You guys you guys hit the ground running you're in the race now because you got a squad. So, and especially one like you said. You've been excited for weeks about it. You've been jumping out your seat trying to. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't say nothing. I
told him, I said, "Boy, I've been bragging about y'all."
It's a testament to your self control that you never said who they was yet. I was like, man, I would have been told everybody. So, yeah. So and I can see the excitement in the fact that you got some players that are passionate and talented as well and connected and everything else. So it's really like you guys are in the race now. So that's what's going on. Ron's Reviews is already asking, can he be groomed for the Senate? Man, he's trying to get you into politics already, bro.
Already.
Ghost Listener 402 says, what will be the first change? So many tried before. What would you say on top of your head you want to make happen now?
First change. That's a really great question. We're strategizing right now. Yeah. Like I said, we're developing this really from scratch. I think the first change has already been made. You have a group of people who, again, are intentional, who again are going to be strategic. And I think that's the first major change. Oftentimes we have people who are doing this work who mean well, who may not be very familiar with the different communities that are being worked in, right? That's what I was thinking about when putting this team together. You know, who can we bring in that, you know, understands all these communities? There's very few people, no shade on anybody, but I don't know a lot of people in Omaha, Nebraska who really understand community organizing at that level in both North and South Omaha, like myself, like Rachel, right? East Omaha, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, even as I was thinking about these positions, I'm like, you know, wow, we got to have people who can talk to everybody. We got to have people who can take, you know, these different thoughts and concepts and be able to help me put them together. You know, when you're working with, right now, we have over 70 nonprofits that we work with. And when you're trying to put together one plan for all of those, that takes strategy, that takes thought, it takes intellectual curiosity. And so right now we are planning. And that's very serious. What's the first change going to be? I probably can't just say that. I don't know if you all have thoughts around that, but we're being intentional and we don't know everything. If you have thoughts, if you have opinions, if you have input, holler at us. Let us know, because this is about essentially the community that our nonprofits are working with. You know, Rachel's not going to be knocking on doors anymore like she was doing in the past. Now it's time for her to elevate and work with our nonprofits so they know that the importance of the knocking on the door strategy, the importance of, you know, setting up in a community and not just standing there, but actually going out and talking to the people and building relationships and building trust.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, you can go ahead, Paul, because I actually got a couple of questions, so it might, you know, no telling where that might lead.
Yeah, just wanted to mention. I'm glad you mentioned that about Washal, the work that you've done. Washal, I wanted to ask you about that. We know about the stuff, but everybody listening might not know. You want to tell us a little bit about the kind of work that you were doing before too?
Yes, I've been in nonprofits for a while now. Just my last position, I was a community organizer with the Heartland Worker Center. I did that for 4 years. Which was really cool about it is that I started in 2018 with the last midterm election. So I was able to come full circle and get a grasp of like a 4-year election cycle. And it started with me actually canvassing. My last nonprofit job, which was at the Nebraska Urban Indian Health Coalition, I was over there, you know, doing, you know, some counseling and some case management work. And my ED, Dr. Donald Polk, we were just conversing one day and we started talking about, you know, to get out the vote. And I'm like, yeah, I don't vote. And, you know, she just, you know, I started telling her why I don't vote. And then she literally plugged her ears on me. And I was like, respectfully, Dr. Donald, why you doing that? And she was like, you know what, I just never took you as the type of person who would allow other people to make decisions for you. And it's like, I'd heard people come at me all kind of angles on why we should vote. But when she came at me at that angle, someone I respect, you know, someone I look up to, you know, and I'm looking like, wow, like that finally resonated with me. And then she connected me with the Heartland Worker Center. They gave me an opportunity to canvas. And because I used to rap and stuff, I was knocking at people's doors. And I'm like, they come to the door like, why, son? Like, what's up? What you doing here? And I'm like, I'm trying to get you registered to vote. And they looking like, you know, because it's you, I'm going to do it. And and that's what, like, when she speaks the intentionality, you know, when people know you have good intentions, you know, that's the first move anyway. You know, that's the first thing you can bring forward is your good intentions, because a lot of people do stuff for money or do stuff for clout. But when you do stuff because you're passionate about it, I think that's the message we want to send. We're going to lead by example, you know. We're not going to play. We're going to work.
And I was actually going to speak to that because we talk a lot about, you know, we hear when change is trying to be made or, you know, programs are being implemented, there's always that first initial process of community involvement and community. And they always say, we spoke to community leaders. And it's like, who are these community leaders? And like, you know, hearing situations where Kimara, who I consider a community leader because she's in the community, not just, you know, my personal feelings, but seeing the work that you do, you know, and just hearing what you said, Washel, it's nice to know that we have people pushing for change that actually represent the people. And you can actually say that is a community representative, that is a community leader. Kind of going back to what Ghost Listener 402 was asking, you know, what is the first change? I hear what you're saying, Cameron, as far as just getting the right team together, getting the right people on the job is going to, you know, change a bunch of things. So speaking of getting the right people on the job, both of you, I'm glad to hear both of you have background in workforce development and labor. We know poverty is kind of a causation for a lot of these things. For people who have jobs, they're going to be more invested. If they're making more money in the community, they're going to be more invested in that community. So I just kind of want to pick your brains as far as workforce development. What industries are you seeing, might be viable for people in the community? Those types of things.
Yeah, so when I was working with veterans, I'm seeing people of a lot of different skills and backgrounds coming out of the military, right? It's as diverse as the entire workforce.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the veterans that I was working with were, guys that, and women as well, but people that were struggling, whether that be substance use disorder or, like I said, homelessness or whatever. And we're always trying to address the things, the needs at the bottom, right? Before I can talk to you about your resume, I need to make sure you got a place to put your head down. I got to make sure that you ate today. So I'm going to address those things first. And actually just, a little quote that I shared with Kimara on our way down here was, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. And I think you can use that with everything, right? Because I think a lot of people want to walk into a room and they want to flex their knowledge about something. But if you're talking to a group of people who don't know that you care about them, I don't think that matters. I think it's going to go right over their head, and it's going to go, in one ear and out the other. So, as far as workforce development and things like that, I think that's going to be, again, more working with our members, specifically members who touch those different areas. Now, we talk about specifically issues of civic engagement. So where those overlap, of course, we're going to have those discussions, but civic engagement is going to come first for sure. At the same time, recognizing that civic engagement is more than just voting. We can't just vote every 2 years and expect things to change. It's going to take more than that. That is a baseline thing that we expect from people. But we also have to give them reason to do that too, right? I understand that it is a place of privilege for someone like me to come into a community and say, why aren't you voting? Well, we got to give people reason to vote. If they don't feel like the people they're voting for are doing anything to change their lives and impact their families, then they're not going to vote. So it's on us, it's on all of us to be a part of the solution and not just telling people that they need to do this or that. I think we all need to be part of the solution.
That's interesting you say that. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about that. That seems to be a running theme through everything. If people don't feel like what's being presented is for them, then they don't usually engage. That's in education, that's in politics, it's in every part of it. The storytelling part here is to make people understand that exactly what Washal went through with her mentor. I'm surprised that you letting people speak for you, do things for you, make the decisions for you. We got to tell that story to people that if you don't speak up and you don't do something, you letting other people do something for you, letting other people run your business, and that's not anything anybody wants. Just want to take a quick break real quick. It's 8:19 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, just want to let everybody know that we're talking to Kimara Snipes and her brand new squad.
Hey,
and I love that you're on here. We've been having a few little technical difficulties here with the Facebook thing again, so appreciate Wanda Lewis for letting people know that when we have to restart on Facebook, that's what's going on. I didn't realize that there was a new code that went out. I'm not really even sure what's going on with it, so I appreciate Wanda Lewis for being back here and helping us out with that. Also wanted to jump in the chat. Pops, are you back? Let us know if you're back over here. If we're back on Facebook, let us know.
Congratulations.
Say what?
I saw his post. I said congratulations.
Oh, to Pops?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what's up. Appreciate that. I love when the chat chambers all get together. That's great. Also, Ghost Listener 402 had a very interesting question. Said nonprofits only change ways when threatened losing money. How will you guys make them change? Interesting question.
How will we make nonprofits change?
Yes.
I don't really know that. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I guess when you say we, I'm thinking about this team and the table. I don't really know that that's our lane to make nonprofits change, or that's a conversation I think that can be had amongst people. I'm happy to partake in it.
Also, change how is what I'd like to know. Ghost Listener 402, change how. Add a little bit more to that question if you would. Appreciate that. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot with a weird question there. I just wanted to make sure that I got that out there because I kind of see where that question is coming from.
I kind of do, but I'm not really sure that we're the ones to answer that.
I wonder if maybe they're talking about maybe accountability, and that's something that we can have a part in. Is just asking for more accountability from organizations.
The nonprofits we work with.
Yeah. So bringing back data for us, so we know when money's coming in, we want to make sure that we're seeing an output from that, right? Mm-hmm. So we want people to be accountable, and of course, I think people should want to hold themselves accountable, right? If you are truly about doing this work in these different communities that you serve, then you should be excited to want to show people what you've done, and that's being accountable as well.
And what Raleigh's really talking about is at the Nebraska table, I mentioned these nonprofits that we work with. We provide resources to these nonprofits. That's funding, data, communication support, development support when able. And so part of that has been us having the conversation. One of the things I've been telling our executive director, Weishall and Riley, is that we kind of have to be the parents and put our foot down. We have to request information. We need data. If we're going to provide you resources, we want to see what's happening with that funding, and we want to see tangible outcomes. This is very serious work that deserves that. I can't really see.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I love that. I love learning more about what you guys are doing over there as well. Because I hear about the Nebraska table. I hear the stuff that Kimara talks about a lot, but still don't quite know like how you engage with the different organizations and so on and so forth. So I'm glad to be learning about that now and hearing about that now. It's giving me, I'm like feeling real good about the fact that you guys are teamed up and you're in there. Change will be made now. I feel like there's going to be some real powerhouse things happening.
A little birdie told me that you're going to be participating in an event next week. I can't remember the name of it, but our executive director will be there as well. And you will be hearing some more information about some of the policy work that we're going to be doing as well. So
yeah. It's the 2-day thing that I signed up for.
Yes.
Okay, that's very cool. I'll bring some more information about that. As a matter of fact, I was going to do that today and forgot, but I will bring some more information about that coming up. Because it looked like there's going to be some powerhouse heads as far as organizations concerned there. So
okay,
I'm glad I signed up for that. That was at the behest of it was a Whites and Logiers thing that they've kind of teamed up on some training, and we've done some work with them before, and I never took advantage of any of the trainings that they put out there, which is pretty awesome to have these free trainings on stuff. And so I'm definitely excited to check that out. Whitney Richardson.
I wanted to highlight Weishall.
I'm sorry, say again.
Weishall made me think of something earlier when she was talking about what I call her Dr. Donna. Yes. What Dr. Donna said to her, one things I'll tell people, I think I mentioned before, I said, we want to start that hashtag Know Your Five, because again, every single day, I can't remember what the man's name was, but I'll never forget it. He said every day there are at least 35 to 40 people who are making decisions for you. And you should know at least 5 of those people. And so that's something that also resonates with me. And I think that's very powerful when you tell people like, look, you want your power. Well, every single time you don't vote and someone else is making decisions for you, that's kind of taken away from you. So I just thought that was very powerful. And I want to kind of elevate that again. And I think that also is something that we, working with our communications team, can really work with around that type of messaging, and then, push that into the community as well.
Love it. Definitely. Whitney Richardson in the chat says, what tangible outcomes would you like to see?
To be very honest with you, I'd like to see more engagement. I would like to see higher voter turnout across Nebraska, especially in marginalized communities. I would like to see more voter registration. We would love to see more voter registration and turnout with our youth. We'd love to see more. And when we talk about, we're going to go back to that conversation, always talking about around civic health, the civic piece, the social piece, and the political piece. I want elevation in all of those areas. More just interaction and organizing at that real neighborhoods, grassroots level. We can't stress enough the importance of community organizing. That's kind of why I said I think next year the thing should be organizing, because if you don't organize the people, nothing else is going to happen. Mm-hmm. If you don't organize the people, make sure that the people are involved and also taken care of, nothing else is going to happen. Like Riley was talking about when he was working at Heartland Workforce Solutions for the Department of Labor, right? He couldn't even talk to people about getting a job if they weren't in a house or eating. You see what I'm saying? There's steps we have to take. And I think that organizing piece, that intentional, empathetic organizing piece is the first step.
Man, humanity at the base, humanity first. I am curious though, as far as the civic engagement plan in the future, how much work or involvement do you have in schools? We've kind of talked about, some school programs and, some, simulation things for students that I shared. I went through a thing in North Carolina where we, had a city simulation. Are there any conversations or any involvement with the school level to get people, even before they get voting age, to get on that track to be a voter?
So keeping in mind that our model is we work with nonprofits, and Riley has some input too here in a second, but we work with nonprofits. So some of our nonprofits do work in schools. We have League of Women Voters of Greater Omaha that goes into schools, Civic Nebraska goes into schools. Our responsibility and role is really working with them to help them elevate that work, make it more intentional. And we're also going through our members, and we have some organizations that want to be members at the table who are also really, really interested in working with youth as well. And that's a part of it.
Yeah. So, when I was talking to Kimara about what we can do going forward, as far as voter outreach, one of the things that I had mentioned is that we have to do a better job, and maybe not so much us, but the organizations that we work with and finding those organizations that can do a good job with working with students. And, I looked at Michigan, for instance, and the turnout that they had among students, like in Ann Arbor, was tremendous. I mean, I think they said that they had 3-hour waiting lines on a college campus. First of all, no one should be waiting 3 hours to vote. Let's start there. But secondly, the fact that they were waiting 3 hours just tells you how fired up and excited they were to vote. And they saw reason to vote, and they went out and did that. So the question is not why don't we have 3-hour waiting lines in Omaha at UNO or Creighton, because I would hope that there's not a 3-hour waiting line anywhere. But why are we not seeing that same passion to vote among college students and college age students here, right? So we gotta tap into that resource. We gotta tap into that, and we gotta find the right organizations where, again, the vehicles to do that.
And what I was just gonna say, what I also hear, and then I'll say those words again, is intellectual curiosity, right? There is nothing wrong with going, seeing who's getting this done, who's doing this right. And really just kind of taking that and augmenting it for your own area. That's all I wanted to add.
Right on. Yeah, appreciate that. Ghost Listener 402 has a lot of questions about these nonprofits. How are you going to hold them accountable? How, who showed up at your last events? If they have low community turnout, what will you do? I'm anxious. I don't know if you can answer those questions at this point. You're getting started and getting started and getting rolling and making it so that you can, maybe the ideas that you have to get some of these nonprofits moving more than they've been moving, I think, is what the gist of these questions are about. What would you say? First of all, like what do you think you're gonna do just to get just to spark this fire that you guys have going on right now in other nonprofits? What would you say? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that with the nonprofits that we work with, I think they have seen, especially this year, before I got into the organizing department, my job, which sounds kind of weird that I wasn't in the organizing department, just very weird. I just got into it this year, kind of just took it over because we had some transition, and our ED was like, "Whoa, you kind of good at this," and so took that over. And for me, in my mind, when it comes to accountability with the nonprofits we're working with, and first of all, like Ghost Listener, I hear everything you're saying, and I definitely see it. And there's a lot of nonprofits I have some questions for myself. But anyway, I see us as being mindful of our mission, right, of increasing voter turnout. It's holding them accountable to that for us, right? Part of that is we're giving you funding. We need data. You know what I'm saying? We need to track this. We need to know what is happening, what exactly you're doing. Our responsibility and our goal, again, is increasing voter turnout, is increasing civic engagement across the state. That's what we are responsible for. Every question you have is valid. I just don't know if that is necessarily our space as a team, But we definitely are going to be holding the nonprofits that we are providing resources to accountable. We're going to be following that and keeping track of that. That is definitely part of our ultimate goal with what we are doing within this space. Yeah.
Let me. Is the Nebraska Civic Engagement Table a nonprofit itself? Is it a government agency? What is it?
We are 501c3.
Okay, so as a 501c3, you can't, like, let me clarify from what I'm hearing, the Nebraska Civic Engagement Table is not the nonprofit police.
No.
Nonprofit police, but more so a nonprofit who wants to get more people engaged civically. So you're working with other nonprofits to reach as many people as possible. Is that correct?
Exactly. Our theory of change is that these nonprofits, right, they are directly connected to the people. And so we want to work through them.
Yeah.
To essentially reach the people. And so that's what we are, that's what our goal is.
Okay.
Those listening to me and you gonna start a nonprofit popo though. I think
we do need a nonprofit police, but that's not the civic.
We have to help with that now.
There you go. I do kind of want to hear more from Wachelle. What is your exact position again, and what are some of the things you're excited about working on?
I'm a civic engagement strategist.
Okay.
And as far as things I want to work on, I don't have a full outlook on that as of yet, because I got that community organizing in my bones, and I know how I organize. So this is another level. So I'm not sure about what that's going to look like. However, with me being as passionate about this work that I am, I'm going to plan, whether it's on Nebraska Table Time or my own personal time, to continue to reach folks in my community and let them know this is not so much about the work that our nonprofit has to do and other nonprofits have to do. It's about what everyday people got to do. Everyday people act like someone let them off the leash of responsibility. And I need them to get back on the leash and become more responsible, because as I preached with the Heartland Working Center, and I'll continue to preach, there is power in numbers. A lot of us seem to think all the power is in the money. The more money, the more powerful. I get it. Money makes you very powerful. However, there's still power in numbers. And again, we are nonpartisan. So what we want to focus on is the issues. There's a lot of issues out here. A lot of these issues are systemic, So I need for everyday people to, if you're having issues in the school system, y'all need to be organizing around that. We got issues with mass incarceration. We need people organizing around that. Just because we're in this realm organizing at this level, the key force is still everyday people staying committed to change these systems that are working against all of us, not just working against Black people per se in particular. These systems are working against the good of everyone, so it's like everyone should feel a responsibility to do more, whether you're non-profit connected or not. So, that's my thing, is to find a way to still be effective there and still ask everyday people to get on board, and let's do this. If everyday people get on board, you connect with these nonprofits, then, eventually we're going to increase voter registration, civic participation, and everything will improve from there. And we'll see tangible.
I actually appreciate that answer real quickly, because this is something that we talked about on the show as far as nonprofits and people falling through the cracks of nonprofits. We saw with the COVID and how a lot of that money and a lot of that assistance was spread through either churches or nonprofits. But I like your approach of talking about everyday people, because there are everyday people who don't even know about any of these nonprofits. They just go to work, go home, and that's it. So I definitely appreciate that approach. I definitely agree. Working with nonprofits is important, but that approach is important as well. I just wanted to give you some time to speak, though.
All right, thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate you guys coming on. We're gonna go ahead and let you get on about your day. But thank you so much. It was highly anticipated for you to introduce us to your squad. And I gotta say one thing about your squad. All y'all's hair is on point right now. Look, I'm talking about Wachell's braids going on. We got Kimara's twist going on. We even got my man John B. That's got the John B. close cut going on over here. You guys' hair is on point right now. I'm feeling
a journey.
Yeah, the barbershop here. Leah Keitzer says, I'm excited for all the things you will be doing. Grateful for your work. Also, Whitney Richardson, that's great focus because between the anti-CRT people and the attack on school legislation, the extreme right are coming for our children.
That's right.
Also, Ghost Listener says
Mm.
too many people play nice nonprofits in North Omaha community. Tired of the same. We are too. Can't wait to see you guys really kind of help that out. Lyndon in Chicago says encouraging news. That's what's up. Uh, Also, where and how can they be reached? Do they have an office email page? What's your information that we can put in the chat here for everybody to be able to reach out to y'all right now?
Absolutely. We don't have an office yet in Omaha. When we did before COVID, and then we shut down all the office space we had. We just got it back in Lincoln, and now I'm looking in the Omaha area where we will end up with some office space, and so I will let you know where it is when that happens. But you can always reach out to me. My email is Kimara, KIMARA at nebraskatable.org. My number is 402-212-6627.
Yeah, Riley, RILEY at nebraskatable.org.
And mine is actually Y''SHALL at nebraskatable.org.
Y''SHALL.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
At Nebraska.
Table.org.
Table.org. Okay, there you go.
Type Nebraska Table is nebraskatable.org, and we are on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter still.
For the moment.
Now.
As long as Elon will have
Yeah, as long as Elon will have us, I guess.
Elon will have you. All you gotta do is pay $8, and you can be anybody you want right now.
Oh my God.
Thank you very much for you guys coming on. Really appreciate you guys coming on. Can't wait to see what you guys do and partner with y'all on the same goals, man. We got to get civically.
Thank you. We appreciate the work you brothers are doing too.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're glad First Sky exists. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh man, thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. And we're definitely open to doing like some civic engagement events and things like that. So holla at us.
Well, party at the poll after the poll is gonna be an annual thing, so we can talk about it.
Okay.
That's what's up. I like
Let's do that.
Love that idea. Thank you very much. We're gonna let you guys go. Enjoy your time out there in Mahoney State Park. I know it's probably cold out there, but at least you can look out the window and see the deer anyway. So have a good time.
I went outside to try to see it myself. I couldn't do it.
Keep it warm, y'all. Keep it warm. We appreciate y'all. Take it easy.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Peace. All right, that's what's up, man. The squad. We finally got it going on. No, man. Sorry to hit with questions hurting for my community. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry about no questions. That's what's up. That's what we need you here for to ask those questions for sure.
And that helped clarify what the civic table is.
Very much so. And I'm with you on that. Hurting for my community for sure. Now that we have spent some years in this nonprofit world a little bit. We're kind of seeing that, same thing. There's a lot of nonprofits that ain't really doing nothing but sitting around collecting the check, bro. So anytime there's gonna be some people that's gonna try to enhance or help or do something, I really appreciate that. Kimara Snipes is saying never apologize. That's right. Don't apologize for no questions for sure. Yep. We're gonna take a quick break, man, and come on back and finish up some of these stories before we get to the haps for today. Just to let you know, while Facebook is on right now, man, hop over to YouTube. Man. This is about the 5th or 6th time it went down. It might be down now. Let me see. Let me check and see if it's even up right now because, like I said, we can't see from here. It's up now. If you're on Facebook, if you happen to jump back on Facebook for the 5th time, do us a favor and go over. Even Pops is over on YouTube now. Pops says that's it. He's on YouTube from now on. So it's gonna be YouTube from here on out. I would say hit that first. We have to make some decisions about whether or not we want to even continue to try Facebook. I think we will, but we're going to encourage people to move over to YouTube. Seems to be a more stable situation over there, and with all the perks that you got over on Facebook and then some. So yes, and I think everybody did. A lot of people did jump on because Rome's review said a record number of people, 16 viewers right now on YouTube. So you guys are slowly moving over there. Appreciate that. Wanda Lewis says I'm on both. Appreciate that too. So yeah, again, we really apologize for all of the messed up stuff going on here with the tech, but it's informing us about what we need to do next. So That's what it is. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you YouTubers. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you chat chimers, YouTubers. Yeah, we gotta move everybody over to YouTube. This is ridiculous.
Man.
Pop said Facebook is probably mad at y'all for talking about switching and moving to YouTube.
They hating.
Yeah, lots of little technical difficulties, but again, we really appreciate everybody that's sticking with us through those difficulties and even helping us out with them as well. If you're on Facebook, if Facebook is working right now, I encourage you to move over to YouTube. Go to First Sky Omaha, the YouTube channel. We're also live over there, and you can also put in your chats for the chat chiming situation over there as well. We're also on Twitter, but we don't know how long that's going to last. Twitter is tripping. And again, I think we're gonna start narrowing things down here to one platform, which hopefully will be our own. But before then, it might have to be YouTube if everything's gonna be tripping like this. Rose Review says when you're entering information in the video description, hashtag for Sky Chat Chimers, and if the guests have hashtags, enter that as well. Thanks for those tips.
Okay.
Yeah, man, get back on the hashtagging for sure. YouTube is where it's at. And Buddy, you gotta remind me to quit playing that track before we go ahead and make that hot fire with it, because I don't want nobody tracking that yet.
I actually did some cleaning up to it and some rearranging to it, and that's the outdated version anyway. But yeah, you gotta keep that under wraps, dog.
Yeah, put Paul B on that hot fire on that track there.
Hey.
Sucker MCs. Black Dynamite says, yo, speaking of nonprofits collecting that check, I saw an ad for a documentary called The Biggest Lie Ever Told, or something. It was about the BLM organization and how they made like a solid $8 billion.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Did hear about that. Did hear about there was some moving around of some of the funds and so on and so forth. A lot of misinformation about that too when I dug into it. Trying to act like Black Lives Matter is doing the same thing with the protests. They're trying to act like Black Lives Matter is the reason behind all the glass breaking in the in the districts, and it ain't all them all the time. So yeah, I'd like to definitely check that out and see what that documentary is talking about. But yeah, every nonprofit organization, that's what I'm saying, man. We live in we say we live in a nonprofit state, but we live in a nonprofit country.
Man,
I just saw some things about philanthropy that's throwing me off. There's the ways that the philanthropy, there's laws out there that say you only got to give 5% of what you are gathering to the charity that you're gathering for.
Yeah.
A lot of that money will go into an account that account will accrue interest. They will be doing investments out of that account to grow that account. And this is all money that's supposed to go to that charity or wherever they were saying it's supposed to go to. And even on the charity side, this one example, they gave a bunch of money to some farmers in Africa that was growing the fruit that they were going to put in the Coca-Cola that they're invested in, so that even that part of it gets back around to them some kind of way. So yeah, man, nothing is sustainable when if you have to think about like the way the charity of people. How much can you trust that? How much can you build a system on the charity of people in a capitalistic society. It doesn't even make any sense.
Like I said, a lot of shell corporations out there, a lot of shells, and a lot of, the 3-card money being played. Follow the money. Follow the money. That's just call it what it is, man.
Yep.
But the tax write-offs.
Lots of tax write-offs. 8:46 right now, if you believe in the concept of time. Buddy, what are some of the other stories we wanted to look into real quick before we get to this HAPS?
Yeah, man. Before we get out of here, definitely several stories to look into, to consider, some information to take in. We'll start off with our own backyard, man, looking at OPS. Being reported out of Omaha World Herald, looking at test scores. Apparently, test scores by level during a school board meeting on Monday were reviewed, and looks like numbers are sliding. Students in 3rd through 8th grade were tested under the Nebraska Student Center assessment system, and while scores for high school juniors came from ACT, like the rest of the state, OPS experienced, of course, a slide in scores due to the pandemic and students being out of school and having to learn at home and things like that. But OPS specifically, about 20% of OPS students tested were proficient in math, and only about 27 were proficient in English language arts. So about under 30% of students tested were proficient, which means 70% weren't, which is a large numbers of students not really meeting the mark. And apparently a larger majority of those are actually middle school students. Of course, they're trying to figure out why some of these scores are the way they are. Of course, poverty levels are being discussed, having a big impact on how districts themselves score. Again, looking at the statewide numbers, about 41% qualify for free or reduced lunch, again, statewide. But in OPS, that number is nearly doubled, with 70% of students, again, qualifying for free or reduced lunch, which means their family income falls below a certain level. Also, during the presentation, it was discussed as far as students who speak English as a second language. Again, there's much conversation about some of the lack in translation and information for those who do not speak English when it comes to pandemic information, voting information, a lot of holes in just civic engagement for those who do not speak English, again, as a first language, and education was a big part of that. It actually says that only about 2% of students who are learning English tested proficient in English, and only about 3% were proficient in math. So that is a big, huge issue. So again, they're continuing to look at some ways to increase these numbers, but I do know we have a lot of parents who still have school-age students and children at home. So definitely love to hear some feedback on that. But Dr. Cheryl Logan is speaking up on this issue as well. She says earlier this month, OPS did expand its tutoring services as one strategy to help students get back on track. Also, the district is allocating about $14 million in federal aid to create more student academic support initiatives. We also talked about the 500 or so teachers who are being trained to do in-home visits, which will go towards trying to improve the quality and proficiency of students.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, we'd love to hear from those who have school-age students. What are your thoughts? Do you have any concerns about test scores, about what they're learning, or the quality of education that they're receiving? We'd definitely love to hear your feedback. But in other news, speaking of schools, Creighton University has a program available for those who have a high school diploma or GED. I do not believe you have to be a student at Creighton University, but this is something coming through Creighton University's community health worker training apprenticeship and placement program. It is sponsored by Creighton University Center for Promoting Health and Health Equity and the Department of Health Sciences, Multicultural and Community Affairs. The program is designed for those who, again, are interested in entering the health industry. It is a training of 10 weeks. It's an online learning course. Students will acquire core competencies for community health workers regarding public health and health services that follow state, local, and federal guidelines. They will also receive training on job readiness and workforce development during the initial training, after which they will also receive on-job training for which they will be paid. The initial training starts January 9th 2023. We'll meet 2 days a week for a 2 hour a week or homework education also. And then afterwards, you'll receive continued training, and then again on the job training. It says you will receive up to a $3,500 stipend, and also up to $1,600 or for miscellaneous expenses such as child care, gas, travel, food, etc. You'll also receive a new laptop and an accredited certificate of completion from Creighton University. So again, this is an apprenticeship and job placement program. So the job placement will lead to a starting pay of $16 an hour. So again, it's fairly nice program, especially for those who are interested in getting an introduction into the health field. Again, you do not have to be a Creighton student. You only have to have a high school diploma or GED. So GED does also qualify. You must also be reading at an English of a 7th grade level, have a valid driver's license, and must be a United States citizen, or have a foreign national visa permit.
Well, if they don't get them test scores up in OPS, they're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna have a hard time with the reading part of it.
That part.
It's interesting. A ghost listener said need to get school board rep on the show. This is ridiculous. We have a Dr. Cheryl Logan on the show before. We definitely will reach out to her and have her come back and maybe have some things to say on this, or somebody else from the school board as well.
Brianna Fool.
Say again.
Brianna Fool.
Brianna Fool now. Yeah, that's right. So we should. She has it. She's just in there. Can't really speak to like what's been going on in so far, or I should say she can speak on it, but she's not responsible for what has been going on thus far.
Right.
So I'd like to talk to somebody who has some things to say about the reason why things are like they are. Based on the time that they were there. So definitely want to check that out. It's funny because I read this thing today that said billionaire Warren Buffett advice to young people: focus on learning how to write and speak clearly.
There you go. That's the key to success.
That's how you make the millions.
Yeah. You got to write
millions. Right. So anyway, yeah, this is interesting. We hard data on test scores is very interesting, but also tying it in with the second story. I really feel like when I say Omaha, when we try to figure out like what is this town, what is the industry here, it's the health industry in a big way. And so I can if you born and raised growing up here, this is a good place for you to stay if you're interested in the health industry. And I think a lot of our schools, even the OPS, has a bunch of programs that are catered to people going into certain fields, and the medical field is one of them. So then you can leave school and go into these other programs and these starter programs too, and get some help to be able to do that, and then go to Creighton or go to any other schools out here that will that they can further your career. So really interesting stuff that you that when it comes to education here in this town, like what it's about. I've always been on the side of if you're the kind of fields I'm into are fields that you got to go outside of town for, because there is no music industry here, there's no film industry here, there's media and stuff like that. But if you're in the medical field, I can see a pretty straight path for a lot of people. Whitney Richardson in the chat says, I think the pandemic was hard on students, parents, and definitely teachers, and that's reflected in the scores. Probably right about that. Amelia over here in YouTube, new name, says NUIHC can give more info on the CHWs too. Okay.
That's Amy Huffless, by the way.
Oh, Amelia. I got it. Okay, what's going on, Amy? Nice to see you over here on YouTube. Thanks for joining us on YouTube.
Yes.
Facebook tripping. Ron's review says, I think the curriculum and the way we teach in America is outdated.
That's kind of where my mind is.
Ghost Listeners 402 says Ricky Smith should be asked. Too many years there, in my opinion. Yeah, I would definitely love to speak to Ricky Smith as well. For sure.
If I'm not mistaken, Ricky Smith is the one who Brianna Fool replaced.
Are you sure about that?
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, family.
What's looking at? Pop says Warren is right. Learn to write and write and speak well. Just ask Herschel Walker.
Well, I don't know. He's if it's looking like it seems here in Georgia, he still might become a senator. So maybe that's not a requirement. We'll see.
Herschel Walker.
Walker.
Nuna GL, what's going on? It says peace, family. Thanks.
Peace.
Linda in Chicago says I'm with Paul. Yeah. Ghost listener says I wish he was replaced. Mark Snow was replaced.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta look at. Yeah, we gotta. Well, like I said, man, it's time for us to ask Dr. Cheryl Logan to come back on too and talk and get through. But yeah, man, it's interesting. I was just saying, I thought that was funny too. Pops, billionaire Warren Buffett's advice to young people: not how to go get some billions, but learning to write and speak clearly.
There you go.
Warren, put a little money into the education system. Then that's what you want to come out of there. Pay some teachers. As a matter of fact, I think, on that line of thinking, Warren just put a bunch of money into his kids' organizations, which we know. What his daughter Susie Buffett with the Sherwood Foundation got a big check, and I know that she does some things with education. So maybe some of that stuff is gonna get in there, but it doesn't feel like enough sometimes, and in the right areas.
Right, that part.
Yep. So we'll see. It's already 8:57. Man,
yeah. I don't know what you want to do, but yeah.
Can you lightning round in a minute?
Yeah, I actually can.
Okay. Let's do it.
Well, let's see how lightning round or lightning fast as lightning round could be. Jumping into some national news before we get out of here, man. Stuart Rose, the founder of the far-right Oath Keepers, has been found guilty of seditious conspiracy and other offenses in connection with the January 6th insurrection. Undoubtedly more heads will roll, but we'll definitely keep our eyes on that situation. That conviction was made by a federal jury in Washington, D.C. He's been convicted of obstructing an official proceeding and tampering with documents. He was acquitted of 2 other conspiracy counts. So there you have it.
Here's what I got to say about that right here. In 1954, pro-independence Puerto Ricans stormed the Capitol building. They were given 50 to 75-year sentences. Anyone looking for sentencing guidelines to apply to every single person who put one foot inside our Capitol on January 6th should look no further. So,
there you go.
Not enough.
Hopefully more heads will roll. We will see. But in other news, speaking of the insurrection, of course, Nancy Pelosi was one of the targets, of that insurrection. And now she has announced that she will not run for the leadership post that she has held atop the Democratic caucus for nearly 2 decades. And actually, there is a replacement who's already being eyed. Representative Hakeem Jeffries from New York is running unopposed to serve as House Majority Leader starting in January. So he will possibly be the youngest to replace Nancy Pelosi,
and the first Black to lead a group.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. A lot of good words from the chat chimers about our brother Hakeem Jeffries. So we're gonna have to look more into him for that. But moving forward in other news, to keep this lightning round lightning quick, President Joe Biden is asking Congress to intervene with the potential railroad strike that we've been eyeing. The strike is set to launch actually before Christmas if no agreements are reached. Nancy Pelosi, speaking of Nancy Pelosi, is calling a vote this week to do so, even if it means handing a defeat to Democratic allies in the labor movement. So, of course, about 115,000 workers are hanging in the balance as 12 unions set to represent them and are looking for a better agreement, which does not look like it will be coming to fruition unless, again, Congress answers President Biden's call and steps in. So we have until Christmas. We'll continue to look out for that situation in the following weeks. But we've all talked about and are aware of just the wake of issues that could come if there is a railroad strike, especially in holiday season. So we'll definitely continue our eyes on that. But it looks like Congress and the Senate is busy as the U.S. Senate recently passed the Respect for Marriage Act, which is a huge win for our brothers and sisters in the LGBTQIA plus community. What the law actually allows is for marriage or for those regardless of, I believe, sex, race, gender, There are a few other. I'm not saying exactly the criteria, but it's definitely a huge win for again marriage, same sex marriage, and interracial marriages in the community, which was possibly at stake with the pullback from Roe v. Wade. So again, a step in the right direction, some will say. So yeah. There you go. That does it for our news here on First Sky Omaha.
And with that, it's 9 o'clock. Time for us to get out of here, buddy. You did well with the lightning round. It was lightning fast.
Hey, yeah, I thought you was gonna slow me down with that Puerto Rican thing, but yeah, I appreciate you. That's good information. Good information.
Yeah, man. Also, they were the chat chambers were talking about Warren Buffett dropping a lot of money in philanthropy today. I'm glad we had a chance to talk a little bit about philanthropy and what I'm learning about how that money doesn't all go where it's supposed to go. So we'll
Man,
see. Pops also says, I guarantee Warren's kids and grandkids speak and write well.
oh yeah.
You got some words for the people? Let's get out of here.
Man, big shout out to the camera, Washell, brother Riley. You know the dynamic team coming through, and we appreciate and look forward to the work that you're going to do. So you know we have you have our support. So you know anything you need, hit us up. But big shout out to coming through and speaking with us this morning. Big shout out to all the chat chimers. We appreciate y'all, even with the technical difficulties, man. Jumping from platform to platform, just so you can tune in and have the conversation with us. We really appreciate that, and don't take it lightly, man. And we are definitely looking to, as we get up into the next year, looking to some solutions, maybe some changes that we can make to make this whole experience that much better for all of you. So we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Catch the same time, same place on Friday. And Paul B, go ahead, take it away, man.
Right on, man. Pops in the chat says, great show, not only informative, but inspiring.
Mm.
And you have helped us decide that YouTube is the way to go. See you Friday. That wasn't us helping you figure
Right,
that out, Pops. That was Facebook helping you figure that one out.
man.
So appreciate that. Thank you very much for everybody that tuned in. And like I said, was our tech help on letting us know that the Facebook side was down. We definitely encourage everybody to go over to YouTube. Looks like we're just naturally going to be gravitating over to YouTube here. We got Ron's reviews already giving us some tips on how to use YouTube. Like I said, YouTube got a lot more tricks that we could be using for this conversation. So I'm kind of happy that it's going in that direction anyway. So thank you for that. I will definitely be putting some messages out about us resuming on YouTube. I won't kill off Facebook quite yet, but we will start narrowing things down and just understand if that YouTube's going to stay on a little bit more steady than Facebook is. And again, thank you for helping us come to that conclusion today for sure. So thank you. Whitney Richardson says, "Great show, brothers. Have a great rest of the week, family. Appreciate you very much. Don't forget to check out her podcast, Political Evolution."
Hey,
Anywhere that you find podcasts, go check her out. Anywhere, Apple, Spotify, all those places. And shout out to the Weberized crew for helping put that on as well, produce that as well. And just the whole squad. As a matter of fact, Augie Kid's birthday is today. So
hey,
shout out to Augie Kid. That's what's up,
man.
squad. Brother Valentine said another great show. Agree, YouTube seems to be more stable. Yeah, man, we're gonna
There you go.
reconvene on YouTube over there for sure. So shout out to I want to give thanks to Ulumaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land. Thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them, and thanks to you, all the YouTubers, for allowing us to speak with you. Really appreciate that. Um, nope, it's not a live show. Whitney shows a pre-recorded show, but she has some great guests on. Definitely check her out, Pops. Political Evolution. Leia Keeser said, "Thanks for all you do. Thank you. We couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you so much for that." And really appreciate everybody who's joined in on that as well. If you are a reoccurring member of the channel that's allowing us to keep this thing going, we really appreciate you and thank you so much for all your donations. If you have not done that yet and you're so inclined, please go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the donate button, become a reoccurring member of the channel so that we can keep this conversation going and reach some new heights too. We got new goals for next year, things we're going to do on the actual air on the radio, things with the video stuff that we got coming on. So lots of good changes, lots of good growth happening coming up, and it's all because of your support. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that. We're gonna get out of here and get back to you on Friday. Stay warm. It's super cold outside today. Suppose the sun's supposed to come back in the next couple of days, but today is brutal.
Mm.
So check everything, check all the things and all the people, and take care of yourselves for sure. Peace, fam. I love that. Peace, fam. Thank you so much. And again, sorry about these technical difficulties, y'all, but it ain't my fault. So
Hey.
yeah, not this time. So we will see you on YouTube on Friday. Peace.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red